Welcome to my allotment. It's the middle of December and today I'm going to be picking some of the things I've got on my allotment to eat over the next week. Now, if you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you can please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. So as we walk down, it's a lovely fresh day today. It's actually really quite pleasant. You know, everything does start to look a little bit bedraggled this time of year, and it's perfectly normal. There's lots of tidying up to be done and lots of weeding, so it's definitely still a busy time if you can come up here, but you just have to choose your days because it can be quite chilly, you know, and quite wet. So the first thing I'm going to be harvesting is my kale. It's a really good staple to grow kale because it pretty much grows all throughout the winter and only goes to seed once you hit the spring, and it's really quite delicious. So I'm going to be making some crispy kale with mine. That's why I'm picking mine. I still have it covered. There's much debate as to whether one should have it covered or not. Personally, I do keep it covered because the birds can clear it so incredibly quickly once they find it. So I personally do keep it covered because although there's virtually no chance of white cabbage butterfly, there is still plenty of chance of a few hungry birds having your crop. So I do definitely keep it covered. You will find as you pull these down this time of year that the leaves are a little bit more shabby, so you will end up putting a few more on the composter, or I'll be giving them to the chickens, but I'll just go through them and pick out the good ones, compost or give to the chickens. But still perfectly good looking ones. They're a little bit of the little white fly there, but nothing major. I'll just give it a good wash when I get it home. So like I say, this is a really good way of preserving it, and also keeps it a little bit warmer underneath as well, so it'll continue to keep producing throughout the winter as well. I've still got quite a lot under here, and you obviously have to be careful not to take the top head off, so I'm just taking the lower leaves off like so. So it looks like I've picked a lot, but as I go through it, there will be an awful lot that I probably won't keep, but I'll have plenty enough for at least a good 2 meals, and it doesn't have to be too perfect if you're only eating it yourself as well. And this isn't going in on a supermarket shelf, this is just going on your plate. So pin this back down again, like I said, to protect it from the birds. So we've also got Bright Lights chard, again another lovely thing. I'm doing a lentil curry today, so I'm going to take some of this off to put into my lentil curry. So another really lovely good staple, grows all throughout the winter. Definitely the allotment person's friend. I mean, you can obviously have it in the summer too, but at this time of year when there isn't an awful lot, something like a bit of Bright Lights chard can add a lot of flavour and nutrition to your diet as well. And obviously no plastic, so always good. They say that spinach and products like this are one of the most commercially abused products, so if you grow spinach, it's a really fabulous thing to grow, and because you know that nothing has gone on this, you know. Some people moan about a bit of slug damage, but at least we know if a slug's on there, there's not been lots of chemicals around it, so we all know it's all perfectly natural. So I actually think it's a good thing to find a slug or a snail, because it's proof that you're doing the right thing and you're not damaging the garden with chemicals. So another thing I've still got plenty of, a beetroot. So I'm going to be pulling a few of those today. So I can either just boil them up and eat them like that. You can make brownies with them. There's some really lovely salads that you can make with beetroot. So that's a really versatile thing, and something that kind of almost sits in the ground over the winter and just stays chilled, a bit like your leeks. So you can pick them as and when you need them. So a really good addition to the allotment patch. And again, it adds a lot of colour and a lot of nutrition to your diet. So that's the beetroot. I just pick as much as I need, because obviously, like I said, it's perfectly okay to leave it in the ground this time of year. So the other thing I'm going to be digging today are leeks. Another great thing to grow over the winter because they just sit in the ground and they'll be fine until about March. They genuinely shouldn't bolt unless the weather warms up really quickly. So again, I just dig what I need. There's no need to be digging up all these now. They will literally get dug up a few a week, as and when I need them. Like I've said before, always go for what look like the bigger ones so the smaller ones continue to swell out. I mean, the reality is they probably won't get an awful lot bigger now, but it just makes more sense to pick the bigger ones out first, in the hope that the ones that aren't quite so big do actually get a little bit bigger. So this is one of my son's favourite vegetables, so I always plant a reasonable amount of leeks because it's something that he really enjoys, and we enjoy it too actually. We like all our vegetables pretty much, and it is quite an easy thing to grow as well. So I'm not saying you don't get any problems with leeks, but generally speaking, the worst that happens is they don't get terribly big. You occasionally get a little bit of rust on them, but it often doesn't stop them growing completely. So as you can see, I think I've probably got an awful lot of my larger ones out. I'm going to take a couple more because it is something that we really enjoy eating. I want enough to last me a fair few days. So, and actually some of them can look quite small, but actually when you dig them out, they go down quite a way. So they're not, it's not all bad. There we go. So that's my leeks. So I'm also going to dig some parsnips. So that's something else. The only thing with this time of year with your parsnips, all the leaves start to die off. They are sometimes a little bit hard to find, so you have to kind of seek them out. Obviously I planted a few in and around the leeks there, but I've also got some up here. I've got to be honest, they are a little bit small this year, but it's just the way it goes, isn't it really? Not everything can be a success, so let's just see what we've got down here. One of the hardest things is trying to dig them out and not break the bottom of the roots. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not the best at doing that. I do the best I can. If I leave a little bit of parsnip right in the bottom of the soil, it's not the end of the world, is it? There we go, that's not too bad, is it? Actually, you know, supermarkets quite often, they're about that size. So again, perfect vegetable for Christmas coming up. Everyone loves a roast parsnip. I make some fantastic curry soups with my parsnips as well. And obviously really nice to put in a tray bake. So you could even mash them with other potatoes to give it a bit more flavour. There's lots of things, you know, even the small ones, you know, you buy the little miniature ones in the supermarket sometimes and they charge you a premium. So, you know, some could say that you've actually grown a bit of an artisan vegetable there. So it's not all bad. As long as you can eat it, that's the main thing. So give them a good scrub, and you could obviously roast it whole if you wanted to, which I would probably be tempted to do that with that one. So the other vegetable I'm going to be harvesting today are some turnips. So I'm not going to lie, it's not my favourite vegetable, but I will be adding this to one of my tray bakes and trying to look for some more interesting recipes. So that's my ask to you. If you cook turnips regularly, give me some recipes because I really struggle with it. But it is another root vegetable that will overwinter and will stay in the ground just like a lot of these other vegetables I've been showing you. So it is a really good staple to have over the winter. I mean, as you can see, if we come over to see what I've actually picked, I'm going to pick a few more of those. You know, there is actually quite a lot still in the allotment. You know, everyone thinks that winter on the allotment is, you know, there's nothing there, but actually I've got more than I can fit in my basket. I've got a whole bundle of leeks there. I've got some turnips, which I will pick a few more. I've got a nice bunch of beetroot there, a lovely lot of kale, and also a really good amount of chard. So there really is still plenty you can be harvesting this time of year. And of course there's lots of things that I've got in the freezer as well, and I've got all my squashes stored at home as well, and of course all my preserves. So we definitely don't go hungry on the allotment. Now I really hope that this has been useful to you, and it's maybe inspired you to get growing next year and to overwinter a few things, because an awful lot of people don't. They cover their allotment at the end of the summer and they don't do anything with it, and it just goes to show how incredibly productive it still can be, even in the middle of December.